Today we are working on making our own fall farmhouse tray and some of its decor, as well as decorating the rest of the tray using mostly supplies from Dollar Tree. But first, welcome to my channel. My name is Linda. If this is your first time here and you don't want to miss out on any further DIY craft videos from me, go ahead and hit that red subscribe button and notification bell for future updates from my channel, faythchik777's DIY by Design. Now let's get started. So what I've got here, these are from Dollar Tree, this bamboo cutting board and 2 packs of these wooden rulers. And these are what you're going to need to make this tray. So once all the rulers are out of the package, of course, we're going to peel off the little black strip, which are pretty easy to peel off. I think I had trouble with one, but only because of my nail. So I couldn't get a hold of it with my nails, so here I had to grab some tweezers, but they're really easy to peel off, I promise, unless you get the one package. Anyway, and what we're going to need is 2 long sides and 2 short sides, of course, and we'll have those measurements for you in a minute. And I'm just making sure here that I've got the right length that I want. And the rulers where we pulled the black strip off kind of have a raised middle, so when we make this tray, the 2 long pieces, that raised middle is going to go to the outside, and on the 2 short pieces, that raised middle is going to go to the inside, just so it glues together better. And so I'm just marking all the pieces. I've decided what I wanted, and then I'm using my husband's miter saw. I know it looks pretty, right? Anyway, I'd love to get one of those mini ones. That'd be perfect for my craft room, but I'll have to use what my husband has, and that works perfectly fine. I can cut 2 rulers at once, so that's awful nice. Only thing I don't like is how the box keeps moving. I should have put it on like a rubber mat so it wouldn't have kept moving on me. Okay, I've got 4 pieces, so the short ones are 1/6 and 1/8 inch long, and the long ones are 8 5/8 inches long. I'm going to take some sandpaper because this cutting board, it's got a gloss over it, and we want it natural wood from the rulers to natural wood of the cutting board so that the wood glue adheres its best adhesion. So I'm just sanding the edges really nice to kind of get that gloss off. And what I'm going to do also, because I'm sanding, I've got these 4 wooden knobs that are from my stash. I think I got them at Habitat for Humanity, and I got them for like $1 a piece because I want some legs on my fall tray. So I'm just going to measure and mark them where I want, and that's up to your discretion how far in from the edge and everything you want. So I'm not going to give you those measurements. And I actually think, if I'm remembering right, I went about 1/4 inch from each edge for my knob, and then I'm just drawing a circle around each one of them, and then I'm going to use that sandpaper to get right in there and again take the gloss off that sanding board, or off that cutting board, excuse me. I'm sanding and thinking of the cutting board at the same time. Okay, we've got that all nice and prepped. So I'm using this wood glue, this Tight Bond wood glue. My husband gave it to me. I don't know where he got it. You can use any kind of wood glue. With wood glue, you don't want a lot. You want to put, like I'm doing here, a little single line and then just smear it. You want to do that to all 4 edges of this as well as on your ruler, okay? Because that wood glue spreads quite a bit, and it really doesn't take much to adhere all the pieces together. So just kind of a line and then smoothing it out. You'll see me take these back off in a minute because I forgot to put glue on the very edges of the ruler. Don't forget to do that. But the glue still hadn't set, so it wasn't an issue. But make sure you also put it on the edges of the ruler, of the long ruler ends. And then you can put that one back on. Put those ends back on. And then off camera, there's no way to really clamp this that I had, so I just put it against a couple of things that were really stable and kind of squished the rulers together on the side, if that's understandable, so that held together so that they wouldn't fall off. So I just kind of, I think some big heavy bottles of like glue or something like that, or heavy cups or something to kind of hold the rulers close to the bamboo cutting board and just till it dried. And I just let that dry overnight. I mean, if you had a great big table clamp and stuff, you could do that, but I didn't. I'm trying to do what a lot of us might just kind of have in our work area. And if you didn't have that miter box and stuff, Dollar Tree does have a little hand cutting saw. So here it is finished and everything's glued, and I'm going to paint it with this oyster white. Dollar Tree, back to my thought, has just a little hand cutting saw that would work perfectly wonderful. You can see this box is actually already painted. I painted it with this one color parchment, antique parchment and apple barrel paint, but it's a little too yellow for me, so I'm going back in with a second coat of this oyster white paint. It's more of just an off-white versus kind of a yellow toned color. We're going to start working on some of the decor. This is a long banner style thing from Dollar Tree with the oranges and the pumpkins. I'm just taking one of the pumpkins off, and I'm going to peel as much paper off as I can. And then later you'll see me even, I'll sand what's left on there, which isn't much. The paper peels off very easily. But you'll also see me take a little spray bottle of water, just lightly dampen it as you're sanding it, and that will kind of help mush up that paper a little bit and get that off a little easier as well. And this is just 100 grit sandpaper I'm using. And just getting off the rest of that. You want it kind of nice and smooth, and once you get this paper off, it's pretty smooth, because we want to be able to add our words to it. Here's a little bit of spray bottle with water so you could see that, and see the paper just kind of flakes right off there. I'm going to be using, which I do off camera, my Cricut Explorer machine to make my sentiment. Before we get to that, I'm taking the sand block that I'm using here. It's 80 grit sandpaper on it. I wanted to stress the edges of my pumpkin as well as the box, the tray. And I think I do the tray off camera. I can't remember. I might do it on camera. We'll see here together. So I wanted to stress it. Nope. Here we go. On camera, distressing the edges of my tray here. So you can see the long edges of the rulers all flat, so that textured side is to the inside, and when I go to the end, you'll see that raised right there, see, on the outside. It just kind of helped to have a flat edge against the ruler versus that bumpy part when I was trying to glue end to end. You can see all the texture here. Just a little sanding, doesn't take much. So this is done from my Cricut Explorer machine. You can use, Dollar Tree has letter stickers there. You can certainly buy those and then make your own little phrase to put on there. And if you, of course, have a cutting machine, electronic cutting machine, you can do as I'm doing here and make your own phrase as well. I'm putting it up a little more toward the top of the pumpkin, because as we start layering stuff inside the tray, those words, you won't be able to see them very well. So that's why I'm kind of putting the phrase near the top, so that when we take a look at the tray and everything's in there, you can still see the sentiment. A little hard to get these letters off for some reason. I might have not wiped all the dust off good enough when I distress the pumpkin. I think that's what happened. They are sticking fine, but it just wouldn't come off my transfer paper for some reason. And it's kind of hard with those little thin areas on those letters as well. So we're going to paint with this burnt umber and this black chalk paint. I mixed the two together to make a really dark brown, and we're painting this metal word. I'll show you here what I used in just a minute, and these are metal words from Dollar Tree. And I didn't want just that silver look. I wanted to bring in the brown tone, since this is kind of fall farmhouse, kind of rustic appearance to this tray. And I do several coats and heat set it in between. This is just a heat tool that I got from Harbor Freight. I love it. Heats lickety split in about 30 seconds. And I just go back over some areas, and I'll show you the package of words here in just a minute. I like that look a little better. Here's the words. They're metal words, 3 to a set at Dollar Tree. Couple apple barrel paints here, khaki and antique parchment, mixing them together. This ceramic pumpkin I also got from Dollar Tree, but I wanted to give it a little bit of texture and a different look than just buying it from Dollar Tree, because this tray, by now, as you're seeing the video, I have sold it at a craft bazaar, and I didn't want it to look like I just bought a bunch of stuff and stuck it in the tray. I wanted it to look a little bit more handmade, a little bit more distressed, to just give it a little bit better appeal. So I mix those two paints together. I'm just painting the first coat on nice and smooth at first, and I do heat set it in between coats. But I want to give it a little texture, so I'm coming back in with this pouncy brush. It's a little wet there, as you can see, but I'm coming in and I'm just pouncing that paint on and off to give it that bumpy texture, and then I heat set it. And I believe I do 3 coats, and it'll show you here in a minute what it looks like once it dries. It kind of gives a bumpy, almost crackled look, because if you let the heat tool stay on it a little longer in areas, it'll kind of almost crackle it a little bit. Not so long that it burns, but so long just as you start to see the crackle. Here I'm heat setting it. And like I said, I do believe it's about my 3rd coat. And we'll see what it looks like. See, here we go. See how it almost looks crackled and bumpy? I love that look. It's perfect for a rustic. Just a little bit of extra. So now I'm using this black and burnt umber again, and I'm going to paint the stem, and I'm using brushes. These are Dollar Tree brushes. They are not the best quality, I'm going to say, but I think you get 5 in a pack. But I wanted to try and use as much as I could from Dollar Tree. But since the brushes aren't great quality, the edge of the brushes, the tip does not come to straight edge. You can kind of see they're a little bit longer and shorter, but it actually worked on the stem of this pumpkin. It helped me kind of get down into those little grooves and stuff right toward where the pumpkin section starts. So it actually worked better in this case, kind of having those uneven brush tips. But they're not bad brushes, they're just not good quality, but they work. And like I said, you get 5 in a pack, so that's going to carry you a while. And it didn't, I think one little brush piece came out. It didn't shed at all, for me anyway. So once this is done, we're going to go in and start kind of decorating with the rest of the tray. This is some burlap, black and white check burlap I got at Hobby Lobby. It comes in a great big roll. I think it was $19.99. I got it half off, so $9.99. And what I'm going to do, I cut it to the length I want, and I'm just going to take off the edges around the whole piece just to give it a little bit of distressed tear look to make it not look so new. And that's kind of fun to do. I like to do that. It's just fun. It gives us a little bit of frayed edging, and I like it. So we're going to get that placed into our tray. And I'm not going to iron it or anything. I'm just squishing it in there. We're going to add some Dollar Tree leaves. That's what these are here. And I'm just showing you, they come 5 to a pack with the wire on the back. So I took the wire off. This is a hay bale, also from Dollar Tree. These like to shed a lot. So when you take it out of the package, you might want to shake it off as best you can. These are cut pieces from Dollar Tree, and then these little kind of twine looking balls, as well as the acorns, all from Dollar Tree. And I changed my camera view for you so you can see how I kind of set up a little bit. I had to use one of those little logs behind the pumpkin so it sets up, and by setting it kind of in between that little slice and the hay bale, it holds up. That candle also from Dollar Tree, and I'm just adding quite a few of all these pieces in there to decorate up. And then I'm going to come in with some handmade pumpkins that I made, rustic little mini pumpkins. I will have the link to that right here. I'll have the link to the tutorial down below for you. So I hope you enjoyed this process, making our own tray and some of the decorations and then decorating it up. This sold fairly quickly at the bazaar. I'd say within the first 4 to 6 hours this tray was sold. I will have all the links down below to my other social media. Come follow me there. I thank you for sharing your time with me, and I'll talk with you again soon. Bye.